right, welcome back to Hit the Kitch. Today we are making a very weeknightable recipe, which is my chicken piccata with corn and chilies and buttermilk. None of which are particularly traditional piccata ingredients. Actually, piccata is normally lemons, wine, garlic, capers, but we don't do things traditionally around these parts. We're taking sort of the technique of piccata, which is dredging chicken thighs in flour and then browning them in a skillet and creating a pan sauce around them. And we're making it more fun. The fun happens in a few different ways. It happens in the form of all of these aromatics that I've already prepped out here. So these are sliced shallots, sliced garlic, sliced chilies. There's fresh sweet corn, so you get little pops of sweet. There are anchovies in the pan sauce instead of capers, fresh herbs, so mint and basil. And the pan sauce is made, instead of with wine, with buttermilk, which is really cool and creates this like broken, tangy, almost like yogurty, buttery butter pan sauce. It's cool. So I didn't want to bore you with the prep, so I did some of my slicing already. One thing I did want to talk about was how to get corn off the cob. There's two ways that I know that are great. One is to put it on your cutting board, not standing up, because if you stand it up and you go like this, they go everywhere. But you put it on its side and then you just cut them off, straight off, and turn the corn after every slice. So that's one way to get the kernels off the cob. Or you can do this, which is take a largish bowl, stand the cob upright into the bowl, and then just scrape right down as you cut, and they'll all fall into the bowl. I think I'm more of a cutting board girl. As you can see, I'm kind of struggling over here. The only other prep that you have to do for this recipe is season and pound out chicken thighs. A lot of piccata recipes will call for chicken cutlets or chicken breasts that you pound. I'm a thigh girly. I just like how fatty they are. And they're like more tender and yummy and juicy and delicious, and they're less prone to being overcooked. And especially when you're pounding them thin and then you're hitting a hot skillet, a chicken breast can overcook real quick. So I like to use thighs. If you want to use breasts or cutlets, live your life. So we're gonna take a thigh. This is a boneless, skinless thigh. We're gonna throw it down between two pieces of parchment and just pound it out a bit to flatten it so that it cooks more evenly and more quickly. You're basically making a chicken thigh cutlet. You don't gotta go too crazy. I think this is good. But that way when it makes contact with the pan, it'll get like a nice, even browning, and it will cook really evenly along with the other ones. Voila! So that's 6 pounded thighs. This is also a good time to hydrate after all that really hard work I just did. And then we're gonna season them and dredge them in flour before we go over to the stove and just bust out the rest of the recipe over there. So kosher salt, little season all over. And then I have a bowl of flour here. And so one at a time, I'm just gonna dredge them in the flour, which literally just means put them in the flour. So if you were to do like a proper breading station, you would do flour, eggs, and breadcrumbs, and that would yield like a breaded cutlet. The way, if you think of a crispy breaded chicken cutlet, we're not doing that here. This isn't going to create a full crust by any means. It's just going to add a layer of flour to enhance the browning so that we can really quickly get caramelization and browning on these thighs in the few minutes that they're in the pan. I literally think that's all you have to do. Let me just check the recipe. Yes, yes, yes. We go over, we brown our thighs, we add our aromatics, we add buttermilk, we make pan sauce, we eat. So we're gonna start with some olive oil, about 1/4 cup, be generous here because the flour is gonna really soak up and absorb some of that. We're gonna get that preheating in a large cast iron skillet. This is a 12-inch. We will probably be able to fit 3 chicken thighs at a time because they're big and they're pounded. So we'll do 2 batches. Here we go. Here this is, little sizz, nothing too crazy. And then we're pretty much gonna cook these undisturbed here because we're just gonna let them rip and do their thing. I'm over medium high and we're just looking for browning. I'm thinking this is gonna take like 4 or 5 minutes. Like four. Wow, look at that. Gorgeous. So see how flat this is and how evenly browned it is? That's because we pounded them out. All right, that was hectic as f. Next step, add a little butter, 2 TBSPs to the skillet. I am turning the skillet off here because I know it's already really, really hot. Add 6 anchovies. These are so big, I'm actually not gonna add 6. I'm gonna add 3. Look at how fatty boy these are. Yum! Okay, so watch this. The anchovies are going to start to disintegrate like pretty quickly here because they're just frying in butter, which is so fun because they basically just disperse into the sauce and perfume it. Shallots, garlic, and peps. Those are Fresnos. If you don't have Fresnos, you could use jalapenos or serranos. We're kind of picking up all the pan drippings here, which is a nice vibe for these shallots and garlics. I'm gonna season with salt. Give these a saute for like 2 minutes just to soften them. I'm now over medium heat. Okay, here's another fun little hot tip. So we're gonna finish with mint, but we're also gonna take some of the mint from the bunch and we're gonna throw it in right now and just let it soften and brown with the shallots. And it's basically going to perfume the aromatics, the flavor of mint, and you'll see it'll turn black and it will look really unappealing and we'll pluck it out later and we'll discard it. And then we'll finish with fresh mint, but we've got like mint vibrations throughout the whole dish. So we're really just layering flavor here. So you see how the anchovies are like disintegrated, like they're kind of becoming one with the jammy shallots. That's what you're looking for. We're adding our 2 ears of corn. Corn cooks super quickly, so that's why we're adding it after the shallots and garlic. All right, and now we add the buttermilk. 1.5 cups. And it looks like really nice and buttermilky, yogurty here, and then it's about to split, which is totally fine. You're gonna see it break and just sort of turn into this like buttermilk broth. And into the buttermilk broth, we are going to emulsify more butter and create a really nice glossy pan sauce, and it will all come back together. So you see how there's like little white curds in there? That's the buttermilk having broken. Totally what you're looking for, don't freak out. And now I'm just gonna add the rest of the butter in a few different little pieces here so that it can emulsify into the sauce. And you just wanna kind of work it constantly. You'll see this sauce will start to thicken back up and create like a really nice pan sauce. Holy shit, that's good. It's the mint and anchovies are sending this really over the edge for me. So look at that. We've got a nice emulsified buttery sauce here. And it's spicy and bright and sweet and briny. So now we're going to pour it over the chicken and garnish it. Here we've got our saucy skillet and buttermilk pan sauce. And then I'm just gonna transfer these to a serving platter. So I'm kind of avoiding the mint in here because I'm gonna discard it anyway. So I'm just spooning some of the veg over and then we'll do fresh mint over top. So good. And then lots of jus. Don't snoo on the jus. That's the good. And then we'll do fresh mint to finish. Oh yeah, you love to see it. Beautiful. Should we try a little? Sorry, but I'm just gonna go in for the whole shebangy. That is some juicy motherfucking chicken, let me tell you what. And that is a more is moreified chicken piccata. All right, that's a wrap on that.